Hey everybody, I'm on time today. Welcome to Q&A with Tom Vasel. This is August 9th, 2021. It is, the summer is practically over at this point. It's not going to be over for a long time here in Florida. But hey, it is what it is. Life is good. Lots of things going on, of course. This is a chance for you to ask questions and for me to perhaps answer some of them. I don't answer all the questions, but I answer some of them, and we just have a good time together. Or at least I have a good time. So I'm glad you're here today. We'll get started in a second. I'm trying to think anything to talk about. There's all kinds of stuff going on. But yeah, let's just jump right into it. Here we go.
Can you double check and make sure your mic's coming through and not through your computer?
Oh, it is coming through the computer.
There you go.
Thanks. Mike reminded me that the mic, now I'm talking through this mic. Before I was talking through the computer mic. Well, there you go. Alrighty, let's see here. Do you have any morning or night routines you'd like to do? Not particularly. I mean, there's minor stuff, but nothing that's a routine of sorts. I mean, I have a very specific morning routine. I get up, walk the dog with my wife, except on weekends. At that point, dog gets walked at some point. But now when I get up, come back, eat breakfast, do a little studying, a little computer stuff, meet with the kids and the family, go to work. And get dressed in there somewhere. Let's see here. What's the longest you've ever waited to receive a game? Ever waited so long you completely forget? Yeah, I don't look at games too much. I mean, assuming we're talking about Kickstarter, because it's very rarely that I pick another game.
Click the mic to your vest.
Are people already complaining about it? It's a good thing Mike's here today to keep me. I'm going to open the vest, and then we'll do this. All right, how's that? All right. Anyhow. Anything else, Mike? Mike left. The longest I waited game, I mean, I got some ones that we're waiting on now. I think it's a Carnival Zombie and the big book, the werewolf alternative, the one to talk about. Clockwork Orange, not Clockwork Orange. Well, anyway, Blood on the Clock Tower. Those are the got it. What's the last rule or mechanism that got you as heated? Well, I didn't get heated. I just didn't like it upon hearing it. But I wanted to give it a fair chance. So, I mean, I wasn't heated. I just was like, well, I don't like that. But, I mean, I didn't get heated when I read something like this person learned, but I can't really remember one. When games like Ankh release, does it seem like people didn't back it are more eager for the review? Most people who watch our reviews, I shouldn't say most, but a good chunk of people who watch our reviews already have played the games for big games like that, and they want validation or discussion of their opinions, which is the thing. That's how I am with movies. I'll watch a movie, and then I'll go read all the reviews on it and be like, oh, I didn't think about that. That's a good point. That's how we are. Where do you get your suspenders? I buy them from Amazon. Oh, there was also a Suspenders store. I forget what it was called that I bought them from too. Will Dice Tower events during conventions be streamed and also their contents be put on conventions? No. First of all, streaming at a convention is incredibly expensive. Hotels, convention centers will charge between $8,000 to $10,000, $12,000 for you to have a streaming connection. Maybe that will change in the future, but right now that's what it is. That's REIT costs. We've paid those costs a few times. When we worked with Origins, they paid for those costs, whatever they might. Maybe they got a better deal on them, but it was just over the top. That's one problem. Another problem, okay, so forget the streaming. Recording the events, we're done with that for a couple reasons. But the biggest reason is they just don't record very well. And every time we record them, it's a lot of work. We're lugging cameras around. We're setting up tripods. We're putting these together. We're at the mercy of whatever the sound system is at the con we're at. And even a big con like Gen Con, we're at the mercy of them. And so we're set up and we're trying to do this. And then we come back, we post it. It's just terrible quality. All right. So now the events are just for the people who are there. That's what I know. Maybe record them and put it up on a different channel. I don't know. And I know that every time I say this, people say, I don't care about the bad quality, but I have to make the call for us. And it's a mixture of the people not liking it mixed with the difficulty and expense of doing it. It's just not worth it to us. Now, recording the stuff at Dawn, where I do the Dice Hour conventions, where I do have control over the audio, that's a little easier, but we found that there was so much stress for us recording our own stuff, we weren't doing a good job at putting the show on. So come on out to a Dice Tower convention, and we will put on a good show for you there, we hope, and not worry about the recording part of it. Have you read any new comics recently? No. I'm currently reading The Wheel of Time. Have you had real authentic ramen before, or just the Americanized version? Well, if you didn't know, I lived in Korea for 10 years. So, yes, I've had authentic ramen. In fact, that's all I'll eat now, for sure. Tom, any chance people at the retreats can see a game that you all have that's just about to hit the retail shelves, just to see it in person, not to play it? I don't know if that's at the we're going to have all the games that we have that are worth putting in the library. Now, there may be a couple games we haven't reviewed yet that I bring along because I know they're good enough to put on the shelves to time it so that that's not a thing. Like I'm trying to time it so that all the games I think will be in the library will have been reviewed time of the retreat. And some of the games that I haven't reviewed yet, I've already put library stickers on them, and they're prepared for the library in preparation for the review I'm going to do. You said you cool on Spyfall because it's fragile. Can you be more specific? I find it falls apart if people are not general enough with their answers. No, it's just that one or two people can kind of break the game, or they can ask a question makes it too obvious. It's very people dependent. So it's a good game, but, you know, it's just not one at a time. Once your Marvel Unite figures are done, will you showcase them in a video in your Facebook group? I might, actually. I just packed them all up in a box. I'd have to pull it all out. Maybe. Are you going to do a playthrough of Ankh Gods of Egypt? I'm not planning to right now. Really jammed up. Playthroughs are a lot of work. I cannot emphasize that playthroughs are the most work of anything we do, because they require the whole team to be working together to get that playthrough done. So there's a lot of reviews that we put out every week. We put out a lot of content every day, that we have a lot of videos going up. And if we do too many playthroughs, then we lose. Like one playthrough is like 4 reviews. That's really like the quality, the amount of time that goes into it. What's going on with your Twitter account? Yeah, that's a story, huh? Last week, my Twitter account got stolen. Straight up stolen. I got an email that said my email had been changed on Twitter. I immediately got on the horn, but it was too late. They stole the Twitter. They changed the password. Then they changed the name of Twitter. Deleted all the previous tweets. I didn't even know you could do that. I didn't know you could change your Twitter handle. So that's news for me, and I guess it's been around for a while. Problem with the sound?
It's the internet cutting in and out. So like you'll be talking and then it'll buffer and lag for people. You keep saying that like the broadcast doesn't have enough. Are you on the AT&T internet or?
Actually, I just realized that.
Is your computer about to die?
No. I'm on AT&T.
Okay. Strange. I wonder why why it's not receiving enough signal, because I stream from AT&T back here all the time.
Well, okay. Well, we'll see. I'll just keep going. There's not much else I can do.
Yep.
Anyway, so Twitter got stolen from me, and I didn't know you could change the handle. That's a new thing to me, which is weird. You think that if you're going to just change to a new handle, you would start a new handle. Anyway, someone, very nice person, got the handle and transferred it back to me. So I have the handle, just that we went from 55,000 followers. Now I'm down to 1,500. So I emailed Twitter about it, got an automated response with asking more questions. I filled that out, and I still haven't heard from them. And it's been like 3 business days or something. What do you do? I mean, it's better than us losing YouTube, but you better believe our passwords have changed. Do you think that the popularity and ranking of Gloomhaven has had a significant impact on the type of games coming out, as well as the popularity of board games in general? No. I don't know what that means. I mean, every game has some sort of influence on everything else, and people, you know, when Gloomhaven comes out, it got to #1. But remember, the ranking of Gloomhaven is on Board Game Geek. Board Game Geek is a sizable chunk of the heavy board gaming hobby. But if you talk in a board game group, you know, you go to board game group, talk to all the people there, you'll realize that most of them don't even follow Board Game Geek. A lot of people don't. So it's not the be-all, end-all of everything. It's more than it used to be. Ooh, you talking about werewolf rolls? I actually have a video about that coming in a couple weeks. All right, now people are talking about the skipping and buffering. Well, it seems to be running really smoothly here, and I apologize about that. I don't know what the deal is. Let me see here. I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. And I can do that. All right, I had to shut down everything on my computer except streaming. Hopefully that will help. All right, lots of people are saying it's skipping and jumping. Oh boy. I don't know anything about Analog Game Studios. I apologize. I haven't seen it or anything about it. I don't know what y'all are talking about. I've seen a couple questions. I kind of unplug a little bit over the weekends, and I do stuff with my family, so I don't know what else was going on. One of the lead writers for Kotaku states that it's immoral and unethical for game publishers to sponsor reviews of their games. What are your thoughts? To sponsor reviews, I don't know. So there are different paths in this, and this gets talked about a lot. There are publishers who can sponsor stuff. So publishers, and they do this on the Dice Hour and many other channels, they pay for a paid preview of a game. Mark Street does those on our channel occasionally. Stella and Ella do them also. So we have those paid playthroughs, previews. They play the game, not really opinion on it, just talking about the game. It's paid for. It's an advertisement. We clearly denote it as such. Okay. Then we have people who pay for advertisement on the channel, whether it's on the Facebook page or web page, a paid playthrough of the game that we do here in the studio. Again, that stuff's all obvious. It's sponsored. The question comes down to, and I think the question is this: a company sponsors the channel, say Pandasaurus. So we have this here in the background. We have the Loop and Brew. Those are there. They are basically part of the deal we have with Pandasaurus, is we put these in the background. You can see slightly above them is Ankh. Ankh is not sponsored. I just put it on the wall. I put a lot of games on the wall, whether they're sponsored or not. Does that affect our reviews of Pandasaurus games? I don't believe it does. I say strongly it doesn't. For example, last year, was it last year or earlier this year, I reviewed Gods Love Dinosaur. They sponsored us with Gods Love Dinosaur, and I said it was okay at best. I just wasn't a big fan of the game. It was okay. Well, they sponsored us. So it's up to you all. It's really up to you. And do you trust me or not? I hope to be trustworthy. I'm really good friends with Bonacor, and you know that in the past I've trounced Stronghold games. And that will continue sometimes. And it's happened with other people I've been friends with. I'm friends with artists whose artwork I said is bad. I've been friends with designers whose games I said are bad. But there's nothing more I can do to prove it to you, other that internally we hold to a high standard of ethics that we're going to tell you exactly how we feel about a game no matter what. Call it unethical or not, I'm just going to have to live with that. No matter what we do, people are going to call it unethical. And all I can do is promise you that from my end, it's not. And I hope that our track record shows it. I hope that our track record shows that we like the games we like. We don't pretend to like games more because we're sponsored. That's silliness. It doesn't do you any good. And we don't pretend to like games less because they didn't sponsor the show. That's a heinous accusation, and I refute it. I saw someone said that about Descent. Someone said somewhere on the internet that I had given it a less than stellar review because they didn't sponsor the Dice Tower. Well, pshaw, that's balderdash. I have stronger words than that, but it really is. I don't care. Some of my favorite games that I've talked about in my, like, La Havre and Cosmic Encounter. Asmodee doesn't sponsor our channel at all. And I love those games. It's just nonsense. It really is. It's a good conversation to have. I'm not saying that, but I'm just refuting it here for us specifically at the Dice Tower. Why didn't you let someone who liked Descent more do a review of it? There has to be someone who liked it more. Game looks great. Well, it probably does look great, but you mean I should have hunted down someone in our community? Because here at the Dice Tower, I liked it the best of the four of us. I played it with Z. Was it Mike and Roy or Chris and Roy? I forget who it was. I think it was Mike and Roy. We played it. Z didn't like it. Mike didn't like it. Roy thought it pretty similar to me. We had very similar thoughts on it, me and Roy. But I was like, well, let me go. I'm going to play it solo and see if it's better that way. And then I played a ton of it by myself, which is why I did the review by myself, because I played it a lot. When all four of us are not huge fans of a game, we very rarely do a four-way beatdown on the game. I don't really know I like doing that. I mean, we've done games before where we've all said negative things, but this was a review that I felt like I would do by myself on my own. But there was no one here in the studio who liked it better than me. Take that for what it's worth. Again, I didn't give it a bad review. It's a 6.5. It was just shy of being approved, and a lot of that is price combined with everything else. But there's a lot of aspects of it I liked. But people saw in it what they wanted to see. They're like, yes, someone trashed their game. I didn't trash it. I just said it wasn't as amazing as I had wanted it to be. Don't worry. There's tons of people who love it. And there's tons of people out there who tell you how moronic I am for my opinion of it. So you can just go like their comments. Any plans to record in 4K? As someone says, as we're having problems with stuttering internet. Storage space is a huge issue. We run out of space all the time with 1080. Also, I'm starting to wonder, why should I do 4K? Since the majority of people, as far as I know, watch me on their phones, why should I make the quality much better? It seems like a lot of work for not a lot of payoff. I'm assuming we'll do 4K at some point, but I don't feel the need to switch yet. Have you seen Why the Last Man trailer? Yes. You've read the comics. I don't know what that means. I've read some of the comics. I didn't really like it that much when I read the comics. I thought it was okay. I don't know. The premise didn't really intrigue me that much. But it's been a long time. It's been a decade. You could upload the show at the convention, only audio on the Dice Tower podcast. Nope. Everyone complains about those even more than they complain about the video ones. During your boring unboxing videos, do you ever crack something open as soon as you stop filming? It's happened on occasion. Not tremendously. Of the remaining Marvel movies, I'm assuming you mean this year, which one am I most excited for? Spider-Man by far. But I really would like to see the trailer for it. Did you learn any lessons from the crazy bonus-orama marble races last week? Is it possible to have too many bonuses, thus making the actual race results irrelevant? I don't think that does make the race results irrelevant. Bonuses matter. The best racing marbles still won. It wasn't like a marble that came in last place, got a ton of bonuses, and still won. So, no, I learned no lessons. Would you rather a hat glued to your head or sunglasses glued to your face? That's terrifying. Both are bad, but I guess the hat, you can sleep in a hat. You can't. Have you ever tried to sleep with glasses? It's terrible. Let me jump down to the very bottom of the comments. Is it still skipping? Just tell me right now if it's still skipping, because I'll try to fix it. Hopefully it's gotten better, but we'll try to figure out what the deal is. Let me know if it's still skipping. Because it's not skipping. Okay, so it got fixed. All right. I don't know. Maybe it was just a one-time thing. Let's see here. All the reviews for Descent have been lukewarm at best. No. No, they have not been lukewarm. There's been very, very positive reviews of Descent, and I imagine very positive reviews will come in the future. It's going to be a game that a lot of people like a lot. I always do pick the people who like the game the most, if possible, though. It just makes sense. Why have the person who, if one person's going to review it, if let's say two people here at Dice Tower play a game, one of us hates it, one of us likes it, I'll have the person who likes it give the review. Why not? The person who dislikes it can then mention it in one of those, short review extravaganzas. The hacked account is suspended. They keep getting unsuspended, though. They're professional hackers for sure. I mean, they came in, they changed, they stole all our backers, and then changed the name. And delete it. I mean, it was really fast. They get suspended. They immediately get out of it. It's very impressive. In a bad way. Is Dice Tower Library West library used for any other purpose than that single con? Do you have any plans to use that library for anything else in the pipeline? We'll wait and see on that. It's still being put together for Dice Tower West, so we'll start with there. Top 5 foods that are better the second day. This would be a really tough one for me because I think most food, I know everyone's going to argue with me on this, I think most food tastes better fresh. Like I know everyone's like, oh, cold pizza tastes delicious. If that was true, then Domino's Pizza would deliver cold pizza. Like they'd be like, oh, we're going to make a whole bunch of pizzas. We're going to stick them here. You can get a cold pizza delivered right to your door. Balderdash. Hot piping pizza is much more delicioso. I think maybe lasagna is better the second day. It kind of settles and tastes better. Of course, reheat it. A Taco Bell burrito, or any burrito, I guess, from these places that you put in the fridge for a day, then you heat it up in the oven. That's pretty good leftover. I mean, there's lots of things that taste fine leftover, but I'm a big fan of eat it when it comes out. Yes, Jeremiah says, a theory I heard on Facebook group, someone may have got answers to your security questions by asking them on here. That's very possible, but I don't think I have security questions on Twitter. Not that I remember. I didn't put any in when I just took the new account. So And I usually don't answer those kind of questions. But yeah, that is a possibility, but I don't think so on this particular case. At the retreats, how do people join games? Just find a table and ask, or pick a game and set up an empty table and hope people join in. Any recommendations for shy people? Well, people just set the game up. I think, you can set a game up and we'll have player one at signs. In fact, I just got some stuff for that purpose to test it out. You can put a player one at sign and people can join you, or you can just go around and look for people playing a game who are looking for a player. Or hopefully someone will ask you. I know it's shy. Worst comes worst, come find me. I will find you a game. I'll be the guy who finds you the game. That's not a problem. I have no problem. I'm not shy at all in that case. Don says, I work for a news site and the owner would rather not go live. It seems like the connection is iffy because of the number of complaints. Sure, but you get the complaints if you don't go live also. Did I ever try Descent 2.0 co-op via the app or expansion? I played it with the app co-op when the app first came out. I didn't like it, and so I never tried it since. I heard the app has gotten much better. I just have never gone back to it. Just completed my first person math trade. Amazing. Have you done them in the past? I have. Good or bad experiences? Well, so if you don't know what we're talking about, a math trade, which are run almost exclusively at BoardGameGeek.com, you go in there and there are things called geek lists, and you make a list of all the games you're willing to trade. So everyone does this. They make this big list, hundreds of games. I'm willing to trade this. Then the list is done. Then you get sent. You fill out a form, and it's been a while since I've done this, so I'm a little bit muddy on the exact details, but you basically fill out I'm willing to trade this game for, or you say, I want this game. You pick all the games you want, and then which of your games you're willing to trade for that game. Then a very impressive computer goes blah, 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 and randomizes it. So simply, if you want game A and you have game B, and I want game B and I have game A, we trade. But that's very rare. And then it gets more complicated. I have game A, you have game B, he has game C. I want game C, you want game A, he wants game B. Boom, boom, triangle. But it's way bigger than that. The computer figures it out. And then at the end, it's like, here's the games you're giving out. Here's who you give them to. Here's the games you get. Here's who's giving them to you. All right, great. Now you got to figure out how to do it. Sometimes it's done through the mail, which I don't do at all because shipping pricing is so expensive, unless it's like one of those promo ones, where they're very minuscule. A lot of times they're done at conventions and stuff, and sometimes they have a big room. I always found it to be just kind of a pain in the neck. Someone will be like, I need to meet you at 10 a.m. on Thursday. And I was like, so I'm going to play a game like, folks, I want to play this game, but I got to go meet this person at 10 a.m. I found that to be problematic. But I know a lot of people like them, and it's a good way to trade things. And I'm still amazed at how the computer program works. What would be your threshold for what games you deem as for children versus teens or adults? Gut instinct. Ooh, you like my dino skull? I just got this. I was at Hobby Lobby, and it was 50% or 60% off, and I was like, ooh, that would make a neat background. And so I put it here in the background. I love Hobby Lobbies. They have so many cool things there. Dice Tower 21 tickets are going to be on sale in September, right? How's it going to work for attendees who bought the tickets for Dice Tower West 2020? I actually don't know. Tim would know that. I would email him and ask. You can go to Dice Tower West website and email him, and or someone there will answer. I'm sure all the tickets are rolled over who are getting them in. How do I choose the games to display on the wall behind me? Well, like I said, Pandasaurus sponsors us, so I used to have a couple Pandasaurus games back there. Other than that, just whatever game I feel like putting up there. Sometimes it's a game I'm going to review soon. Sometimes it's one I just reviewed. Sometimes it's a game like Ankh is up there because it's getting painted right now, or parts of it are getting painted. There's no real rhyme or reason, just games I feel like putting up in the background. How do you comment publishers raising up prices and excuse of shipping and material costs going up? Should they just stop overproducing games and drop fancy components? Look, shipping and production costs have gone up tremendously, mostly shipping. The shipping prices have gone through the roof. It's not fair to, it's not fair to anybody, really. It's just how it is. And it's going to probably get worse before it gets better. Prices are going up. Like I said last week, I'm paying an exorbitant amount of money for shipping to get the stuff that we made for Pandasaurus, and that's before we even ship it to you all. Shipping is just a bear this year, and publishers are feeling it. Oh, sure, I know a lot of people do watching a 4K TV. I get that. I'm just saying that I don't think it's enough. Maybe I'm wrong. Are any of the reviewers doing 4K reviews? Maybe they are. But the amount of space it would take up that we go through terabytes and terabytes and terabytes where we have to be constantly deleting stuff. We don't even keep all the videos that we've done because we've literally run out of space. There's just too much. How do you feel about game through room walkthroughs? And that's something you would have done or will do at Dice Tower. I don't know what you mean by that. You mean like walk through here? I'm going through every shelf in the Dice Tower library. Is that what you mean? Has the break from conventions, though for a sad reason, helped with having some weekends back and tackling other Dice Tower projects? I know May through August used to be exhausting. That's true. We find ways to stay busy. I always do. And August, September is going to be exhausting because I'm doing 3 conventions in 4 weeks. And I've been working far ahead. I've been recording reviews, extra reviews this week. I'll be recording extra stuff ahead of schedule. We're doing more live plays and stuff. We stay busy for sure. I keep getting asked about, will there be a return of Corner to Corner with Rado anytime possibly? It's possible that such a show might happen in the future, but I thought we ran it for a year. I thought it was good. I'm happy with it. And then I move on to other things. Rado is not part of the Dice Tower channel, so I don't think of him automatically when I'm thinking about shows to do. We got to think about shows that are here. I have a big staff of people that we do a lot of different things for. Right now I'm doing my 5 more great games, and I'm doing it with a lot of different people in the Dice Tower. So I'm not saying it won't ever come back, but there are no plans right now. Let's see here. Is there any indie comic you'd like a show to be made for? Yes, Bone. Bone, 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 bone. Tom, are you going to update your review of Ankh after playing without the merge rule? Probably not, because my review is based on the game with the rules as is. I might talk about the merge rule at some point in the future when I play without it at some point, but I doubt it. I think it will just come up. I don't think I'll do a whole video about it. Have I finished the base Destiny box content yet? Yes. I would rather sleep with glasses than a hat. Maybe, but this hat is nice, and it would not be great, right? But I have slept in glasses before, and then they press in your nose. It's so uncomfortable, unless you sleep on your back. Let's see here. When you play games like Scythe, do you look up rule revisions for balance or use out-of-the-box rules? I always play out of the box rules unless there was some rule and I think it needs to be balanced. I don't worry too much about it. Let's see here. Favorite game with a physical component? Le Havre is my favorite game with physical components. In fact, in my entire top 100 games list has physical components. Ooh, any update on the tattoo? No. You know, we were going to be going out and getting it. I guess that's been put on hold. It might be at the very end of the year. We'll see. It might even get pushed a little bit in the next year, but we'll see. It all depends on finding the right tattoo parlor, which is on Roy, to do, and a good time to do it and record it. I'm not trying to put it off, I promise. It's not that, I'm going to keep dragging it. But we're trying to find a good time, especially with the fluctuating rules of what we can do and not do. Watch The Incredible Hulk, the Ed Norton version, last week with family. Why does it get a bad rap when it comes to the MCU movies? Well, it's just not as good as the rest of them. I don't think it gets a bad rap when it came out. I don't think people trashed it too much. It just wasn't as good. Let's see. If you could bring back any TV series that's no longer on, what would you bring back? Chuck? I really liked Chuck. We'll review series of one person who liked the game and one who didn't ever make it to Dice Tower as a concept. No. Because that's too hard of a concept. Like, a lot of the games that we play, we all like, or we all dislike. To find it, be like, I liked it and he didn't, would be a hard concept to do. You know, it would just be better for us to review a game with two people, which we've done in the past, rather than find one that I like but you don't like. Now we'll find one that you like and I don't like. I just don't see that as a good concept for a series. Well, I'm not counting desserts. Obviously, desserts are fine usually the next day. And soup as a general thing. What's the most expensive item Fuzzy has destroyed? I can tell you right now, a baseball mitt or softball mitt. My daughter decided Holly's going to play softball. And so she got her mitt out, and the other day, the dog chewed a hole in it. I was displeased, to say the least, especially when I saw the price of a new mitt. Can we get a top 10 from the book? Why not? We'll go to the back. Oh, these are blank. All right. My top 10 wonders of the world. All right, so we'll make that the top 10 things that I have seen in my life, wonders of the world. Statues, monuments, etc. I feel like I may have done this in the past. All right, so number one is Great Wall. And I'm talking about, we'll start with, we'll go with man-made stuff. So number one is the Great Wall. That was very impressive to see. What would be number two? Man, there's so many good things. Okay, so let's just talk some of these things out. There is a Statue of Liberty, which I think is still pretty neat, having seen that. There are the Twin Towers in Petrona, in the capital, Malaysia. I saw the Lord Murugan statue from a distance in Malaysia. If I had seen it closer, that would have probably been pretty cool. The Forbidden Palace, maybe. St. Paul's Cathedral. Oh, wait, I'm mixing things, sorry. Westminster Cathedral, St. Paul's. Oh, which one's more impressive? They're both really impressive. I think the British Museum is really impressive. I saw the Eiffel Tower. What else would be on the list of really cool things that I've seen? I'm thinking about not a ton of stuff in America. You know, really. I think Washington Monument, that whole area together is a really neat thing. From the Lincoln Memorial to the Washington Monument. I like that zone there for man-made things. I lived in Korea. I'm trying to think of something really impressive in Korea, and nothing is like popping into my mind here. I mean, I think Lotte World is an impressive thing. It's just a gigantic building with an amusement park inside it. That's just really, really impressive, man-made wise. Can I put Carhenge on here? That's not really true. So that's what I think. Now, top 10 things I haven't seen that I would really like to see. I would like to go to, well, actually, let me look it up here. Man-made wonders of the world. All right, so let's take a look here. Machu Picchu, I would love to see that. Okay. Oh, number one is actually well, let me look through these first to make sure. Where would I like to see of these different places here? I saw Notre Dame. No. So Machu Picchu's on the list of places I would like to see. Let's see here. Oh, the pyramids. Oh, for sure. I have not seen the pyramids. Angkor Wat. I'd like to see that. Those are 3 I would like to see. Petra for sure. That's 4. The Colosseum. I would love to see the Colosseum. That's 5. Golden Gate Bridge. I think I would like to see that. I've seen a lot of big bridges, but I think the Golden Gate Bridge would be 1. So that's 5. Let's see. What else would I like to see? Man, there's some of the. I think there's that I forget what it's called, but like the tomb in Egypt that has all those giant statues in it. That would be 1. I forget what it's called. That's number 6. Let's see. I don't think I would care to see Taj Mahal. I mean, I think it'd be neat, but that's not it. Christ the Redeemer I'd like to see, so that we'll make that 6. I'm looking on the internet now at lists of different things. Times Square was, it was fine. Statue of Liberty, I already seen that. Stonehenge, maybe. Mount Rushmore, I don't know if I'd want to see that or not. The Parthenon, oh yeah, I would like to see that. So we'll add that to the list. Oh, Easter Island. Yeah, I would love to see Easter Island. I got one more. And no, ooh, Tower of London. Let's put the Tower of London on the interesting man-made things I saw. I think I like that more than St. Peter's. And oh, the Hoover Dam. I would like to see the Hoover Dam. All right. Well, that was a lot of time we spent on that. All right, let's move on. Chinese is better the second day? Oh, no. KFC is better cold? I'm going to argue that because I bet you they have a lot of chicken returned because it was too cold. What would be a better list than the Board Game Geek Top 100 for more family or rated games? I would take a look at the Dice Tower People's Choice Top 100 that comes out each year. I think that does a really good job of having a mix of family games and highly rated strategic games. Once you're done with the library shelf reviews, do you have any other ideas for segments from the library? It's going to be a while before I'm done with those, so there's no rush on that. What's my mother's maiden name? Palupika, and my social security is 123 456 78910. And it's actually 10, a single digit. It'd be really cool if someone like Conan interviewed Tom on his podcast. Highly doubtful that's ever going to happen, folks. That sort of thing is nice to think about, and you'd be like, oh, wow, a million new people. And it might happen at some point. I'm not saying these things wouldn't. I don't necessarily go out of my way to seek them out. Any update for Dice Tower East for 2022? Well, no, it's on. We're still planning it. Registration is going to go live later in the winter. We'll have an exact date for you soon. Oh, sure. You better believe I'm looking at a two-factor authentication for the Twitter account for sure. When I was at con, someone suggested standing up on a chair and holding the game box up as a call to others to come play. I didn't think it would work, but it did. Oh, sure. But for some people, that's very, very overwhelming to do something like that. And as Joey said, you just walk around and people ask if you want to play. Hang out in the library area where everyone's going and looking at the library, and other people are looking for games to play too. That's a good way to do it too. In what situations are you shy? It all depends. I'm shy-ish, as most people are, when I'm in a group of people where I am the person with the least amount of understanding or information in that group, which happens occasionally. Let's say I'm with a group of guys and they're all talking about hunting. I know nothing. I'm just sitting there listening. I know nothing. Keep my mouth shut. Hunting is a kind of extreme example, but that sort of thing happens where I'll be in a situation and I am low on the totem pole. I'm pretty shy. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm shy sometimes in a one-on-one conversation because it's easier for me to deal with a crowd of people than it is for one person. That's just my nature. Tom, when you go to a friendly local game store, what's your preferred way they organize games to play? By weight, epic, I don't care. Just have them on the shelf. Make them look nice. We haven't heard an update on Melody for a while. How's married life treating her? I talked to her last night. Seems to be fine. All right, people, can you stop with the merge rules and Ankh? Asking the same question over and over. I'm going to start putting people out of chat for that. I've already answered that question. Are expansions overpriced? No. Do you hate it when games practically require an expansion? Yes, but I don't think that's many games do. With such a large game library, how long does it typically take you to become reacquainted with the rules before playing? Depends. It depends on the game. Some games I just need to look up one thing and I'm in. Do you typically take some time to relearn the rules before playing again? Not particularly. Like the other day, I taught Le Havre because I was like, hey, I get to play. We played Race for the Galaxy and Le Havre. And for Race for the Galaxy, I had to look up something about the starting cards, I think. And for Le Havre, I had to look up a rule about, I forget what it was. I had to look up something, and then both of them were set up. After that, I didn't need to look up anything because I know the rules for both those games really well. But with other games, I might have to look up more things. But for the most part, once I start playing a game, I remember how to play it. What's that the games are hanging on, and how do you get them to hang? Well, so it's a little hook like this. We spray painted them brown so you couldn't see them. But the games kept falling off the hook, and then Z came up with this idea. Those little bumps that you put on the bottom of cups sometimes, or like coasters. So we had these because we use them for a variety of things. And he put one of these on, which made it a little bit thicker, and then the game didn't fall off nearly as easy. It was brilliant, and it was Z. In fact, Z and Mike were the ones who saw these. I think we got these from IKEA and said what a good idea these were, and that's why I have them. I think they're cool. I like them a lot. But they were the ones who found them. I don't think shipping prices going up is excuses. No, that's just the way it is. Did I just say these wouldn't fall and then one fell? But that's because Ankh is sitting up there. It's on one hook instead of two, because I was using another hook for something else. Do you have your dream gaming table? Yes. They post the game room walkthrough on YouTube and talk about. You're talking, Monica. I'm assuming you're talking about other people walking through their game room, and then we posting that like, here's Joe Schmo and Sally McBally showing off their game collections. Sure. In fact, I used to have a segment on the Board Game Breakfast where I put out the call, send them in, and we had people send them in for about 5 weeks, and then it disappeared. Maybe I'll put out that call again at some point, but it's been a long time since I got one. The Jaws of the Lion Dice Tower map will be sent out as soon as I get it from Isaac. So as soon as he sends it to me, we'll email it out instantly. As of now, do you know if printing of board games might happening in the U.S. due to shipping costs from China? Maybe, but there's not a lot of good printing presses that do a good quality job in the U.S. That's why it's not been done here very often. It's also very expensive. So then when shipping plus the expense in China overcomes the price in America, which it hasn't yet, which just goes to show you how much more expensive it is in America, that's when it might change. Are there legacy games in the Dice Tower library? No. There is, well, there is. There is Clank Legacy and there is Charterstone. But that's because both of those you can play completely when the game's over. They both have spoilers on the board and such, but you can play them, and some people open up to look at them. I think Charterstone in particular is a very fine game. The Pandemic Legacies you can't play afterwards. Yes, I know people on the internet said, oh, there is a way to play it afterwards, but no one does, and they aren't really good to play afterwards. I shouldn't say no one does. Very few people do, and that's just not worth putting in a library. Yeah, most of the legacy games don't really fit in the library. When a crew of Dice Tower has a meeting, what kinds of foods do you order for the meeting? Well, whatever we're in the mood to eat that day. Do you feel that board gaming culture has changed in the recent past? Oh, sure. And Kickstarter itself has changed the culture a lot. Do you feel that gameplay focus has changed from replayability to limited plays? Maybe? Who knows? I don't think most publishers are making games designed for them only to be played a few times. I think they realize that's what's going to happen. Can Pandemic Legacy Season 0 be played before 1 and 2? Sure, you can technically play any of them before the other ones, and there's only the most minor of spoilers, but I would play them 1, 0, 2. That's how I would play them. Did you watch any Shark Week this summer? No? I don't even know what Shark Week is anymore in a sense because, first of all, there's sharks being talked about all the time. Secondly, I don't have a TV. I just watch stuff that's streaming, and streaming doesn't have weeks. There's just stuff shows up online sometimes. And occasionally they mention sharks, and I turn it off as quickly as I possibly can. Top 5 MCU movies? We'll talk about that in the future. Top 5 vegetables and how to cook them or eat raw. 1. Brussels sprouts, roasted. 2. Cauliflower, steamed. 3. Broccoli, steamed. 4. Snow peas, raw. 5. Those are my 4 favorites. Cabbage, kimchi-ified. All right, I really don't like cabbage any other way that much. If you were to get a board game tattoo across your knuckles, 8 small spots, what would you put there? Nothing. I don't like knuckle tattoos. Have you ever been to Sweden? No. And how much IKEA furniture do you have, if any? Mostly just bookshelves and a few background things here for the Dice Tower. If you could only teach a board game but never be able to play it, which game would it be? Any of my games. I love teaching. I don't mind not playing as long as other people are having fun. What's your least favorite bug in Florida? Ants, spiders, hornets, mosquitoes, etc.? Well, if we're going by the bug, then I'll say scorpion by far. Although, oddly enough, scorpions are very rarely found in Korea and Florida here. In fact, the place where we last lived was the only place I've ever even heard of them being in. That one small wooded location. We've since moved from there. We haven't seen one since. I do hate cockroaches, spiders, and mosquitoes. Last night, I heard my daughter scream downstairs. It was a giant, massive spider, and I was like, well, whatever. And she was like, no, it's really giant, massive. So I was like, fine. So I went down to deal with it, and it was big-ish. It was like maybe this big around. That's with the legs, right? So it wasn't that big of a spider. And I thought, it's salt gun time. So I just got there, stood back a decent distance to let the salt spray. I hit that sucker. It shook. I hit it again and again and again, and it shook and shriveled and shriveled and shriveled, and then it started to run to escape, but I would not allow it to escape, and I Rambo'd that thing, and then it fell on the ground in a little ball, and then stompity stomp, stomp, stomp. Okay, it was just one stomp, and it was gone. It was already dead, though. The salt gun did the job. And then I was sitting there looking at my kill, and a daddy longlegger in the corner was like, glad that wasn't me. Well, it was him. So, yes, I know, don't be cruel to spiders, blah, 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 blah. Spiders shouldn't come to my house. And I will never apologize for shooting a spider with a salt gun for 2 reasons. 1, because I don't like spiders in my house. And 2, because it's so much fun shooting that salt gun. It also works so well. Come on, spiders. Any plans to review the Kickstarter for Avatar Legends RPG? Why do people ask us? I guess we don't normally do our role-playing games here. We just don't have the bandwidth for it. So we weren't planning on doing it. Let's see here. Oh, wow, I'm really far behind. What review is the Sunday drop this week? It is My Farm Shop, actually, a smaller one. But we're still reviewing some big games this week. I think The Great Wall is also going up on Sunday. And then Chronicles of Dronagor is going up tomorrow. And then lots of different things in between. Yeah, sometimes some of the stuff in these role-playing games is always unclear. Adventure tactics, some troubles and things. I run into this with every dungeon crawl that I go through. And we just decide on the spot. It's a cooperative game, so we just pick something like, well, this makes sense. I'm not justifying that these games don't have all these things, but sometimes it's just like, that's the way it works out. We're all on the same team anyway. Do you have a favorite video game music score? That's a good question. That's a tough one. So I would say, man, there's so many good ones. So I think if I could just, like if an orchestra was there and they're like, sir, we'll play you one piece of music, I would say, play me the suite from the Super Nintendo Legend of Zelda, because that is fantastic. So orchestral, that's probably number one. I like Skyrim. I like what's another? Final Fantasy 3 or 6, whatever you call it. That also has an amazing score. It's really well done. I don't even like opera, and I like the operatic scene in it. Just fantastic. 7 is good, but 3/6 is better. I like the music from Final Fantasy Tactics. I like everything about that game. Now, if we have a jazz band, the Super Mario 64 music done by a jazz band is just on point. In fact, I can't even find that anymore. I used to have it. I bought it a long time ago, and it disappeared in one of my moves or whatever. But I had like a big band style music of Super Mario. And I've looked for it on Spotify, but I don't remember what it was called, so I can't find it. But I really, really like that one. I think the Super Mario 64 music is fun and interesting. But for just one piece of music, it's hard to beat the Legend of Zelda. It's such a good piece. Now, Breath of the Wild has good music in it. And there's a lot of other games, I'm sure, out there that I just don't know about. I don't play a ton of video games, so I'm a little bit more old school with these. But I like that one. Did it say Natural Wonders? It didn't say Natural Wonders. Let's see here. I'm seeing, wow, I'm so far behind. So I'm skipping all the questions and catching up to where I'm at right now. Sorry, everybody. For a man of faith, you take an unnatural delight in murdering spiders. I can live with that. I can live with that. I don't know what one has to do with the other. And yes, spiders kill other bugs, but spiders are creepy crawlies, and I'm okay with that. You know, if that's a flaw in my psychology, I can live with it. I'll tell you this. When I'm done and I doff the salt gun over my shoulder like a returning hero with a shotgun, my children are like, with a slow clap, I walk there, I drop the gun, my children stand and cheer, my wife rolls her eyes, and I'm like, the hunter is back. Thank you. And then I tell you all, and someone on the internet always says, how dare you kill the poor spider? You should have captured it and released it out of the house. And I think, that's cool, but in my house, spiders die. You can let the spiders live in your house. And here's the good news. I didn't even make a dent in the spider population of the world. They're not, here in Florida, they're not going down in numbers. Alrighty. 8-bit big band. Maybe that's what it was. I really like big band music anyway. So thank you, Pete. The average spider person swallows 52 spiders over the course of a lifetime. That's actually an urban myth. There's no way, first of all, that they would know it. Secondly, why? Why do people think a spider would come in your mouth, crawl down your throat, and you swallow it? It just, there's like no proof that that happens. Alrighty. Anyhow, everybody, thank you so much for watching. There is more good stuff coming your way. We got a couple videos going up today. We definitely have some going up tomorrow. Like I said, we're doing the Chronicles of Drunagor. Me and my daughters, we played that one. I have a pile of games right there, a 7 bad reviews stack. I'm going to be doing 3 roll and writes together. I got the Power Rangers deck building game, Hungry Hugo, the Great Museum Caper, and expansions for Objection. What's not called Objection? Whatever the game's called. Lawyer Up. Lawyer Up. So lots of stuff coming this way your week, this week your way, and we're doing have a top 10. I'll be back live tomorrow with 5 more great games, and then tomorrow also Shoots and Marbles. We got live crowdfunding. Oh, I'm sorry. Tomorrow morning we got a live play of a mass. There's live stuff all day tomorrow, and then crowdfunding on Wednesday, Thursday, top 10 games with 1 annoying rule. Friday, another live play. So live. We'll see you then. Until then, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.
Bye.